much for joining us for Well Read, Well Said, the August edition, the first one for the month, where we will break down a little bit of our new book, get into it. Obviously, we're not too far into it, so we'll talk about how far we are and discuss, Melissa's calling Megan out already. Discuss how far we are into
Megan had to hit the brakes a little.
I did.
Yeah, we had to tell Megan. Megan loves to read, so we have to tell her, slow down, girlfriend, just because you'll get through it too fast.
And then I don't remember anything for the last episode.
I know. That's because you read faster than the average person.
Why do we do the 1 week later and then we don't do it again for like almost a month? Why do
They
we do
want
that?
us to do every week.
Well, that's too much, but why don't we do like
Correct.
every 2 weeks?
I guess we could, maybe.
We could.
Because it seems
Something
like
to
we were
talk
just
about.
here a minute ago.
We were just here a minute ago. But then we had also talked about, well, 2 weeks and then 2 weeks might not be enough for someone to read a book of this size. So.
It's probably the thinking, huh?
Yeah.
Well, we do want to thank you for being here with us, whether you're joining on WTOL 11 Plus or YouTube or watching anywhere else that you watch us. We do have a reminder that you should join us and have fun on the conversations on our Facebook group as well. It's called Well Read, Well Said, WTOL 11 Plus Book Club. We've got about 1,800 members in the group. We have lots of fun in there, discussions, we play games. So it's really fun, interesting. We don't bombard you. We aren't too crazy, but we have a good group of people who like books. And
and I think they're very active and they interact with us quite often, which is very nice to see.
And we talk about how they're nice, and we like that.
Yeah, they're very good
people. Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, because it's not too controversial a topic or anything. Nothing to fight about in there.
Exactly.
At least
You
not
should
yet.
try to start a fight about like characters or something.
Oh, that would be funny.
Yeah.
That could be interesting.
Which is the best romance trope? Oh, that would be
That
it
would be a
right
good
there.
one. Who's the best book boyfriend?
Oh.
What are you thinking about this book so far? Because you're not really a thriller person.
It's okay. It's not my favorite. But
Just because it's like slow to start, you said. Like we ran
Yeah.
into each other in the coffee room and I asked her, it was like slow to start.
yeah, it's slow to start. There's a lot of build up and a lot of like setting the scene. And I'm getting a little bit impatient.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where's the mystery?
That's the thing when you know it's like a thriller. You're like, okay,
ready
I'm ready
for
for the
it.
thrills.
Yeah, you're ready for it.
And so far, there's been no thrills.
Aw.
Yeah.
And how far are you in?
I'm on chapter 12.
Oh,
So that's like
so
16%.
we got a while to go.
Where's chapter 12?
And these are long
Hold on,
chapters, I
gotta look at chapter 12. While I'm looking for chapter 12, you guys might be wondering where Alexis is.
Yeah.
She's gone today.
She's at Cedar
Sad.
Point with her family doing like a last minute kind of vacation.
I haven't taken my kids to Cedar Point yet this year. They go on their own with their friends, but yeah, you gotta, this summer's wrapping up.
It is.
So I don't know if she has the book. I don't know if she's started it yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
But she'll be back for the next episode, so she'll give you her thoughts for sure. I looked, so chapter 12 is like 70 pages in.
Oh, that's not bad. I thought it was more, but the chapters are.
They're
I
pretty
thought they were
short. They
kinda
are
long,
pretty short.
but they're not, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've been reading it on my phone, honestly.
Oh, really?
I haven't. I've been too lazy to
Pick up
check
your
my
Kindle?
Kindle and see if it's charged.
Oh,
so I've just
goodness.
been like on my Kindle app on my phone.
That's the good thing about the Kindle app.
You can use it
I'm
anywhere.
listening and I reading it together. I was able to
Same.
get the audiobook, so that's how I'm listening to it.
I was able to get the audiobook and the ebook, so I've been reading and listening while I take in the story.
So now that we've gone into the book, let's talk about what the book is because we breezed right past that. So last episode, we had the Toledo Library on helping us choose our next book. It's a mystery thriller genre, and we all voted to read I Have Some Questions for You by Rebecca Mackay. So we will get into all of what we think so far of our book for August. I do have a trivia question for you
okay.
guys. So are you ready to see what it is?
Ready.
I
I'm
even
ready.
made it multiple choice. Okay?
Yay.
All right, can we pop that up? So which of these right here below is a common trait of the psychological thriller genre? Forensic investigations, unreliable perceptions, spy missions, and fantasy timelines.
Ooh.
Don't
B.
answer it.
Oh.
Okay, Okay, well, we know what Melissa's answer is later on in the show. We'll have the answer.
You should trust me, Megan. I'm good
I
at
do
thriller
trust you.
stuff.
That I do
Okay.
trust you.
You can trust her.
Yep.
Okay.
But maybe it's not B, so.
Okay,
Maybe
so
you're unreliable.
you know what? She might be unreliable. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know you're on chapter 12, which is like 16% through the book. What are your thoughts so
Let
far?
me see this book. I'm see where I
So
am in the real book.
so far,
Oh, I could just check my
feel
phone.
like it's a lot of setup and a lot of build up.
Yeah, like, oh, here's where I went to college.
Yes.
These are who my friends
Yes.
were.
And it's kind of a little bit on the slow side. Usually when I think of a thriller, I think like, boom, you get started right off the bat and it's go, go, go. Like you say, there are thrills.
Like, what's that one book we did, Beautiful Ugly, where there
Beautiful
was like a murder right then? I do like that. You're right.
Yeah. And so I also think I've been a majority listening to it. And I feel like I'm missing just pieces here and there. And I don't know if it's because the narrator's unreliable or if I'm not paying attention enough and I need to like really super focus. But I feel like it's a little bit disjointed and I'm not picking things up as I should.
I feel like I'm just kind of going on a roller coaster with the book. Like, I messaged you, Megan, yesterday, and I was like, what's the main character's name? I'm like 4 chapters in, and I don't even know her name. We've learned about...
Oh, we don't know it?
No,
We
she
don't
hasn't
know it
said her
until
name yet. I know she's cheating on her husband.
They have a weird
Kind of, with some
arrangement.
Some guy
Yeah,
that's
some
like
guy that she met.
from out of town.
And he doesn't even really want to spend time with her, which is weird.
And
Oh, I didn't
she's-
get that part yet. So I
she's
just checked.
back at
I'm a
her-
couple pages behind you.
Oh,
I'm in like the
okay.
final parts of chapter 3, which is like 6% in.
Okay, so I wrote. So here are my questions that I have so far. What's the main character's name? I said she went to a private school and she's married. She has 2 kids, right?
think so.
Okay. Her friend died during a play.
Yeah.
That's where I'm
That
at.
which is going to be the mystery.
Yeah.
That's going to be the mystery.
Yes. When she went to this boarding school, she was not rich like everyone else was.
She was on like scholarship, and the Mormon family.
Oh,
she
here we go again with
is
them.
Fostered with, pays her way through school.
Yeah. I said
Oh,
she's
I didn't get
headed
to
back
that yet.
to the
Did
school.
you get to that yet?
No,
Okay,
to
I thought
take
maybe I
2
missed
classes
something.
Nope.
and see her boy toy. That's what I wrote. And then I said, I feel like a lot of things are thrown at me with no explanation. I mean,
I already started like thinking about what I think is going to happen because these books always have a twist. I think the friend who's at the college
that she's
maybe
going to
killed
meet
this
the friend.
girl
Yeah,
because they're super close, and that would be certainly like
that's the one
crazy.
that's the lesbian. She's
Yes.
married to. Okay,
the other woman.
yeah.
So,
But I have no idea because I've only read 6% of the book.
I am interested in how she died because
Yeah.
there's this video where like this video on YouTube or whatever where she was there, and then everyone's like, look at this
Did
time,
she get
look at
killed
this
or
time.
did she disappear?
She drowned,
yeah,
right?
she got killed.
Well,
yeah.
how'd she drown? Do we know this yet?
No, we
After
don't
3%?
know.
She
We don't
didn't
know.
drown?
No,
I don't know.
I
Never
don't-
mind.
we haven't gotten to that part. This is what I've been talking
Well,
about.
you said she drowned.
No,
she
I said
said
she drowned.
I just know.
Did they ever
she
find the
was
body?
killed.
I don't know.
They found the body and they've arrested a killer and the killer's in jail, but there's like mystery surrounding that and whether or not the person is
The correct person?
Correct.
Okay.
So I will say, since I'm further than both of you, you will find out what the main character's name is.
Okay, good.
There's a whole section and a whole chapter about why she's named the way she is.
Well,
So,
what's the name?
Bodhi.
Her name is Bodhi, but I didn't
I don't need a
realize
whole
that.
chapter on why that's her name, do we?
It goes into like her family history. Like I
Okay.
said, there's a lot
Okay.
of background that I don't know is actually necessary.
Okay.
And this girl was her former roommate when she was at the school. So
Yep.
Who, the one who died?
Yes.
I don't know if I got that out of there. Okay.
You probably haven't gotten that part yet.
there's a lot going on. I feel like I'm on a roller coaster. Hopefully.
But
Hopefully
it's
we
not an
get
exciting
more-
one.
No. Hopefully we get more answers soon.
Alexis is on a better roller coaster than we are right now.
She is at Cedar Point. Well, we've been on, we've had some other exciting books. Let's talk about some of the other books that we've read. Mel, you want to go first?
Oh, so this book just came out, and everything's been said. The Brian Koberger Idaho 4 case has pretty much wrapped up now, earlier than anybody expected. And so there's a book called The Idaho 4 by James Patterson. I just finished that. I gave it a 3. Mm-hmm. I think it was there was some information in there that I didn't know about, the investigation and kind of like who the cops were that showed up and what they were doing at the time when they were called to the scene, and kind of some of the frustration by one of the families and how the other families got along, and just, how they each chose to, or how they each navigated this tragedy. And so I thought it was a good book if you're interested in the true crime.
Are you going to read the other one that's out? I think it's called While Idaho Slept or something like that.
Probably not. I think that this one, for some reason, I was following the Karen Reed case, which everyone knows I was obsessed with that one. This one I didn't follow as much, so I wanted to just see more in depth about it. I don't think I'm going to beat the dead horse and keep going with it.
Okay.
Time to move on.
What'd you read, Megan?
So I am currently reading Behind the Net. It is a hockey romance. I needed to kind of break up some of
This sounds dirty.
There have been some boom booms in it so far.
Let me guess, in the locker room.
Actually, no, not yet. He is a NHL goalie, and she is his assistant. So there's a little bit of
tension.
Yes, and the will they, won't they, I shouldn't be with her, and they knew each other in high school. So I'm about 70% of the way through, and I'll probably finish that today or tomorrow.
See, Megan, this is the thing that interests me about your reading, is because I feel like you read so many books that you would require a high level of writing, but I don't find that to be the case in most romances.
No.
To me, romances can kind of be like The Babysitter's Club or like Judy Blume, like very elementary writing.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in how you feel about the writing. Do you require elevated writing to love the book?
So I feel like,
'cause sometimes I feel like it's pretty
basic.
yeah.
basic.
So I feel like when I read a fantasy romance, that I want the writing to be a little bit more in depth and a little bit more
elevated
substance and elevated. With these romances, I really kind of just go by vibes and tropes. So if it has a trope that I like in it or a good audiobook, I'll pick it up and I just enjoy it for the story.
That's how I am.
Yeah.
So my book that I read, totally different, which is what I wish Alexis was here, because Alexis would enjoy this. The book that I just finished is called Caught Up by Nevessa Allen. It's the second book in a series. There's only 2 out right now, but this is what you would consider maybe like a dark romance.
Yep, I've read it.
So Alexis would call it the weird stuff. The main character is in the mob. And
His name is Junior.
his name's Junior. He's in the mob. His
Oh,
dad is
You mean it's
the
not
cleanup.
like Anthony.
His dad is in charge of the cleanup crew for the main. So
like
they're
cleaning
the
up the
ones who
bodies.
clean up the bodies. Yeah. And so he's been in love with this girl that he met in high school, and he has kind of stalked her and watched out for her for 10 years. And now finally the dad's out of the picture, and so
He can date
he can date
the
her.
girl.
So when you say dark romance, is that like You?
Yes.
Would that be a
Yes.
You?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're talking about the Netflix show,
Yeah,
which is
Netflix
also
show
books.
You, which would be like a dark romance too. So yeah, but he I don't want to ruin it, but he wants out of the mob. So that's where.
And
the
how's
story
the writing
goes.
in those books?
That one's pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I
it's not super elevated. I don't have to dictionary.com what these words mean.
Right.
And I don't want to.
Well, and the banter's really good in that book, and the ending was really good and sets it up for the next book in the trilogy.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that book. to
That's
come out.
important too, though, because when we read, what was it? Was it the Colleen Hoover? Which were the books that was like they would introduce the people at the end of the book, and it's just like, okay, they're just throwing these people at us randomly.
That's that one right there. Things we
never got over, things we
To me,
hide
it was
from
just
the
like
light.
too obvious. Like, okay, now you're transitioning into this other book.
These ones, I really didn't know. Like leaving the first book, I wasn't sure who the second one was going to be. And then this one, I don't entirely know.
In the
Caught Up.
Lights Out, Caught Up, third book is going to be about Tyler's.
Got
Got
the money guy. Okay.
Yeah, and the boat and the gambling business.
He's a gambler.
He's
So,
going
like-
to gamble on love.
So one guy cleans up the bodies, the other guy's the money launderer, but they know each other.
One guy's a hacker,
Yeah.
and his
But they all
dad
know
was
each
a
other.
serial killer.
They all know each other, yeah.
One guy is in the mob, and he cleans up stuff for the mob boss, and then the other guy
But they all
is
have
in
these
charge of a
amazing
gambling
romance
ring.
Yes.
stories that
Yes.
most
It's
people
not
don't get in one
believable.
lifetime, right?
Okay, we got to move on.
Okay.
We are in our reading goals. I have read 39 books out of my 80, so I'm behind by like eight or nine books, but I got to get there. Megan, what's your reading goal?
So my reading goal is 60, and I've read 45 out of 60.
60 for the whole year?
I'm probably going to surpass
Blow that out, yeah.
Yeah. But
yeah,
I
she
didn't
said
want,
it pretty low.
I did, because I didn't want to put it at like 100, 150, and then be like, oh my gosh,
150?
I'm behind. And so if I get to 100, great. If not, that's okay too.
Okay, Melissa, you didn't set a goal.
No.
And you don't even know how many
Did you
you've
not
read
want to be
for the year.
disappointed?
This is the first time I've talked about a goal with you guys. I didn't know we were doing goals in January. I don't know. Maybe I've read like 5 books this year.
Well,
That's okay.
You've read
Oh,
more
yeah.
than
You've read
that,
more than
right?
5.
So maybe
you're
it's
probably
10.
at
read
like
the
10.
book club books and then anything
Maybe
on top
10
of it.
books,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're at like 10.
We need to get you a Goodreads.
We do. We should just set it up.
Because you know what I do? Because I send it to you. I just take pictures of like books that I see and send it to you. But if I had the Goodreads,
Then
If
you
you
could
had the
track it.
Goodreads, you could track what you're reading, track your goals. You could keep a TBR.
because sometimes I have to go through and like go back in my Kindle. It'll say like read, and I'm like, but did I read that one? And then I have to read it a little bit to figure out.
I've done that before where I haven't tracked it and I've been like, I actually have already read this. This
Yeah.
sounds familiar. Okay, so we like to make fun of me a lot about how I read my books. So I decided to bring in my pillow pad right here.
Do we need to move out of the way so you can lay down?
No, I don't have to lay down. I can prop it up. I do
can
need
use my
Megan's
Kindle.
Kindle as a prop. So this is how I read my books. It's got 3 different settings, so it can be relaxed or it can be really, really straight up. See? So you take it and you set the Kindle right there. See how nice that is? And then it just let me kick
Here,
my
do you want
feet
me to
up right
hold
here.
the book?
Got my kick my feet up, and you open it, and you can just go like this, and you just tap and you tap, and I don't have to do anything. I don't have to change pages. I just
And
Nice.
you have the page turner too, right?
I don't have a page turn here.
Oh, I
you,
do.
You could try it.
Do you
try
take this on
out.
the airplane?
No, I haven't taken it on the airplane. I have taken it on road trips though. See, isn't that nice? You just prop it right there.
Oh, I might want the other more.
Angle.
Oh, you could do the other angle
this
right
it?
there. Yeah.
Yeah, this is good. I like
See?
this.
See? Look at how nice that
Have
is.
you tried this?
I have, yeah. I've got
Why don't
one.
you have? Oh, you do have one. I was
got
gonna
a
say,
similar
of
one,
course she has one.
See, isn't that so nice? So you
Yeah.
guys make fun of me. Listen, this pillow pad, I
I
call
think
it
you
a
need one
pet.
for the airplane.
I should get one for an airplane. These are so comfortable. I sit with this thing all day, and I just
What's this
it's
for?
my emotional support.
It's for her phone,
Oh,
right?
you can put your phone in here.
I think it's for a remote that you could have for
Your
your
remote,
Kindle,
and then
so you don't
it's
even have
also
to
got a
tap
handle,
anymore.
so you can just carry it.
I would find a way to use that as a pillow on the airplane. You
You
know,
probably could.
You probably could.
you could just put it on your little tray and somehow sleep on it.
Yeah. So we have some discussion questions, and we're probably only going to get to one. So one of the things that we wanted to talk about, since we like to read romance, Mel, sometimes you dabble in the romance. So the discussion theme is romance gets real, and we wanted to talk about why readers tend to lean towards certain tropes like age gap or second chance, messy, flawed, enemies to lovers. So why do you think people like to read the romance and they read certain tropes, as we'd call it?
So one of my favorite is the second chance romance, which they were younger, they met, it was the right person but the wrong time sort of situation, and then as they get older, they reconnect and they fall back in love with each other. And there's something that just grips me about those stories and makes me.
Do you have a long lost love? Is that why?
No. No,
She's a romantic at heart.
I am a romantic at heart. And so I just like diving into these stories.
So you like second chance. Do you
Yes.
like the friends to lovers one?
No.
I don't like that one either.
I like enemies to lovers where there's a little bit of hate and tension,
sexual tension.
and will they, won't they sort of love.
I think it's because we all have like a first love that you probably, remember. And then I also think because life can be so boring sometimes with, you're with the same person and like, you're doing life and you're working and you're raising kids and blah, blah, blah. So it feeds into the fantasy, these other things. I don't know about
Sometimes
the age difference thing.
The
That's
age
not
gap one?
that
That's
hot.
a little bit taboo.
Yeah, that's
and I feel like
taboo.
people like that trope because they might not necessarily want it for themselves in real life, but it's fun and interesting to read about it in a book.
That's why I like the dark romances, because they're, I don't know, it's like kind of psychological. They're morally gray is what you'd call them.
But you know what? One of the problems that I do have with romance, I think, is that yes, like this is, it's this man that doesn't exist, and that can be fun, but it also can be depressing. Like I just feel
then
like
you
you
gotta go
look
back
over
to
at your man when you're reading, and you're like,
Why aren't you a billionaire?
why don't you come ride on your motorcycle to my workplace and punch the guy in the face? Like, it's just like, it's never gonna happen.
Right.
It's setting the bar like,
Way too
high.
high.
like the one that Alexis and I are obsessed with, Knox, from what
yeah.
book?
Things
we never got over.
Yeah, like that's just, nobody's ever gonna live up to that.
No.
And no one's ever gonna be Atlas, where,
Oh,
he
yeah.
brings you meals to your workplace and,
Cares if
comes
you've
and
got-
rescues you
Yeah.
Yeah.
after you were thrown down the steps. Like, it's just not gonna happen.
No, but you go
But
in
it's a
with
good story.
Yeah,
we
you
like
go
the
in
story.
with realistic expectations, and
Listen, I go
You
into my
found-
romance books knowing that I'm just gonna be able to turn my brain off and
Yeah.
enjoy the conversation and have a good time.
yeah,
So speaking of romance, Kennedy Ryan canceled her fall book tour, and that includes coming to the Toledo Romance Con. We talked about that last week. how
Why
the-
did she cancel it?
We don't know
don't
yet.
know.
So
hopefully everything's good with her.
What does
and
she write?
She writes romance.
Romance.
She's written some hockey romance.
Yeah.
She's written some second chance romances.
I think I've only read one of her books.
I read one of her books and I DNF'd it,
Oh,
and I just thought, okay, maybe that one's not for me. Maybe her hockey romance is, and eventually I'll get to it. But there are way too many books and so little time.
That's true.
What's up with the hockey romance? I mean, I dated a hockey player in high school, and I can tell you it was,
Just average.
I feel like hockey players are hot if they have all their teeth.
yeah.
I mean, I like the sports romance,
Yeah.
I think they just have a reputation for like fighting, right?
Yeah.
but
And they're muscular and fit and sexy.
yeah, there you go. Megan's planning to be at Romance Con, so you guys can, anyone who's going, we can all chat about
Yeah.
Romance
Go
Con.
meet Megan.
Go meet me.
Go meet Megan. Okay, we're gonna play a game. We've got about 4 minutes left
Okay.
in our show. So this game is called Literary Would You Rather. So we're
Okay.
giving you 2 scenarios, and you got to choose between which one you want to do.
Okay.
So the first one, would you rather live in the wizarding world of Harry Potter or Middle Earth from Lord of the Rings?
Ooh, I'd say Harry Potter.
Yeah. Who doesn't want to
Potter.
be a wizard and
Me
watch
too.
magic and,
And I
fly
feel
around
like
on a broom?
even as dangerous as Harry Potter is, Lord of the Rings is more dangerous, and I wouldn't survive.
Oh, I think I would want to be in Slytherin. I'm not a Slytherin, but I think I would
No, you're
want
not.
to be Slytherin.
I'm
Just
a Hufflepuff,
because-
and I feel like that makes a lot
Oh,
of
you are
sense.
How do you know you're a Hufflepuff?
Because she
I
took the
took
quiz.
Oh.
Okay,
Well, what
next
makes you
one.
Hufflepuff?
She just
Positive,
is.
bubbly.
Oh,
I'm not
definitely Slytherin,
conniving.
huh?
I'm not
Probably Slytherin.
courageous.
Or you might be Ravenclaw.
What's Ravenclaw?
The nerdy ones.
No, she's not nerdy. I don't know. We'll have to do Melissa's
Yep.
Harry Potter quiz. Okay, next. Have Katniss Everdeen's archery skills or Percy Jackson's control over water?
Ooh. I feel like Percy Jackson's control over water, I feel like that could be more applicable in like everyday
what I think.
situations. I mean, archery's cool.
Katniss Everdeen is cool, but like, when am I going to use that?
Right. When am I going to
I don't
shoot a
even
bow
know
and arrow?
who's Percy Jackson.
Percy Jackson.
He's
and the
from-
Olympian Thieves.
Oh, well, then I have to go with Katniss because I've read those books.
Okay. Okay, would you rather, here we go, this is a romance one, date your enemies turned lovers or experience a second chance at love with an old flame?
So, okay. So even though I said second chance is my favorite, I would do enemies to lovers.
Do you think it would be hotter?
That, but also as a person, I'm like, I've been there, done that. I'm
I
never
agree.
doing
Yeah,
that again.
there we go. Okay,
I
so
think it's
enemies
normal to be
lovers.
like, oh, what are they doing? But like, you left for a reason.
I think there's a lot of times that people are like, I don't like them. And then you get to know that person and then you are like, oh, we're friends. And not even in like a romance sense. So enemies to lovers would be mine too. Okay, would you want to be stuck in a deadly game like the Hunger Games or trapped in a psychological maze like in Gone Girl?
Ooh, you know, I think I would pee my pants with like the Hunger Games because like, have you ever played like hide and seek and you're like so scared you feel like you're almost gonna pee your pants? I can't imagine if someone was coming after me with like an arrow or gonna blow me up.
Yeah,
but
but
also psychological stuff is kind of hard to figure out sometimes, and that would be extremely frustrating.
Well, and that could really mess up your mind too.
Well, Hunger Games does all of that too.
It does.
If you've seen or read the
Yeah.
other games that they have, the Quarter Quell, that one was that one was wild.
I think that one was my favorite book out
That
of
one
all
was.
of them. Yeah.
Oh, that one was the one that had like the.
So what did you guys decide with the Gone
Oh,
Girl or the?
I would be
I would do Hunger
Hunger
Games.
Games. Okay, last one, I think. Would you want to experience a magical love like Beauty and the Beast or a forbidden romance like Romeo and
But like
Juliet?
marrying a beast is kind of forbidden, isn't it?
I don't know. It's magical though. It's a fantasy.
Seems a little forbidden, like illegal.
You want
They have a
forbidden?
name for that.
Okay.
Bestiality.
So
Bestiality.
I would say Romeo and Juliet love story.
Okay. And you
Because
said
it's hot.
you
Yes,
said what?
hopefully
Mel?
less death though.
So what's the magical?
Magical like Beauty and the Beast. or
What's magical
forbidden?
about it? That he turns into
That
a man?
he turns into a
No,
hunk,
I'd go with
hunk of a
Romeo and
prince.
Juliet, I guess.
Oh, the forbidden.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do the opposite. I'll do Beauty and the Beast.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, we're moving on. We do want to remind you to check our Facebook group. It's called Well Read, Well Said, WTOL 11 Plus Book Club. We've got 1,800 members. It's a really fun time in there. And Megan, I think you posted in the Facebook that you were doing something over the weekend.
What did you bring us?
So you got some things that you brought.
I did. So I went to Pages of Glass. It was at the Lucas County Fairgrounds. And I got
What is it? What's Pages of Glass? Like a fair?
It's like a book fair. So it was a book fair for adults. They had all kinds of different authors. Finch and Fern was there. Gathering Volumes from Perrysburg was there. They had all different kinds of candles, 3D printed art, books
this?
that you
Let me
could
see
buy from authors.
Oh, that one.
That one
Mel.
is a character that is in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J. Maas. I bought that as a gift for 2 of my friends, so they'll each get one.
And you got lots of books.
I got lots of books, which are all here.
Which, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 9 books,
I did.
Megan?
I did.
That's a
So-
hockey.
And you've read these, right?
No,
Oh.
I have not read these yet.
No, is that a football? That's a
It is.
football.
So this is a sports
Okay.
romance, and what's really cool about this is the ombre like spines, and I feel like more authors should do ombre spines like that because more people like me would get them.
Oh, one's
So it looks
football,
nice when
one's
it's stacked up
baseball,
together.
one's tennis.
What's the significance of the candle boot?
Oh, this one was from Kogan Candle Company, and I thought it would be cute for my Bookstagram and
it that
pictures
way,
that I
Megan.
post.
There we go.
Sorry.
There we go.
So that's for like my shelf, and I'll just post it in pictures.
Does this have like a significance with like a genre or
We
anything?
can call that cowboy romance.
Yeah, OC Silver's
Oh,
Chestnut
who was saying they like that
Springs.
cowboy romance?
Alexis likes the small town and the cowboys.
Yep.
So Megan got a lot of stuff. We
Yep.
can't go through everything.
Nope.
Because we got to wrap it
What's
up.
in
That's
there?
a fantasy one.
There's something in there.
It's-
Oh, it's just pages.
Yeah.
Books 1
It
through
looks
3.
like a box.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
3 books in there.
That is 3 books. in
Oh,
there.
wow. Megan, you had a good book haul. That's
I
what
did.
they call it.
I did.
Okay. Well, let's get to our trivia question.
Okay.
B.
It's B.
Okay, I'm not even going to ask it. Which of these common traits, or which of these is a common trait of a psychological thriller? And Mel and Megan were right. It's B, unreliable perception. We learned that in the Beautiful Ugly book, but I'm guessing that this is also something we're having here because this girl, lady, Bodhi, does not feel reliable.
No.
In our book. So,
I haven't gotten to the part where I don't think she's reliable yet.
okay, we'll see.
But you're only a few pages ahead of me, so you must be
I
picking
just
up on
feel
something
like
I'm
I
not
just
picking up
am
on.
going on a roller coaster. I feel like she's all over the place. That's why I think she's unreliable.
Well, you guys read a lot more than I do, so you can spot these things.
Yeah.
All right, we've got to say bye. Thanks for joining us. Our next episode is at the end of the month, August 26th. We will break down this book, give all of our thoughts and our ratings, and choose our next book. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye.